Confused about lookup function in PowerApp? Hi, this is Krupali from Know How Academy. So today in this video you are going to understand about what is lookup function, when to use lookup function and how you can use lookup function different way. First, I will explain lookup function with the simple scenario. In that, I will use employee data, and when I write some employee name, based on employee name, lookup function will find that employee from the database and return the result. Let me show you how. So I have designed a screen. Let me show you the data first. This is the employee data and this is the column called first name. Now this table contains n number of information. And let me close this and run, save and run. Now let's say if I find an employee using a first name Latina, so here in the gallery control, Latina record is displayed. Now how lookup function will perform search? So from the data, let me show you again. So from the data, it will start scanning from the first record and it will stop search when it finds the first exact match. So if second person name is also Retina, third person name is also Retina, it will not display the multiple match. It will display only single match and it will stop the process. So this is all about lookup using search. So this is all about searching using lookup. So let me explain lookup with the second scenario. Now I have designed a same screen where when I select something, let me show you, save and run. When I select a male, male record will be displayed, and when I select a female, female record will be displayed. Now what I want to display n number of information of that particular employee. Let's say here I am able to see only 3 types of different information, that is email ID of that person, first name and which position that he or she is working. Now let's say if I want to display the detailed information of that particular employee using a lookup, how can I do that? So let me take a text label and here let's say I am using a lookup in that. So what should I write? Lookup, then using which data source? So employee data, then based on gender I am filtering the data. So let's say drop down one dot selected text dot value. Now if I write this, it will generate an error. Why? Because now say if I write that same thing in a gallery control, it is not generating an error. And when I write this thing in a text property of the label, it is generating an error. The reason is that if you write lookup and if you write the data source and the condition, or you can say the formula, based on that it will look up the value. So it will return a set of result. Set of result means, let's say one match found and that one record contain n number of column. So it will return that entire column. And here now text. Text label is what? Text label contain or it will be able to display only one value. So now let's say if I write same thing in lookup, so PowerApp confused, what should I display? The person name, person last name, because it contains n number of column. So here I need to pass a third argument in the label. Now in the label, that means what I want to display. I want to display the date of birth, I want to display the email ID, or what I want to. So let's say I am displaying the date of birth. So it will display the date of birth of that particular female which is displaying in gallery control. Now let's say I want to display multiple things or multiple information of that particular employee. How can I display? So let's say if I write here the first name, concatenation symbol, and let's say last name, so it will display first and last name. So let's say if I want to put a space, and so it will display the first name and last name. Now let's say I want to display 3 fields: first name, last name, as well as customized text. So for that, what I can do? So for that, let me write a concatenation sign, and here I am displaying the first name. So here it will display. Then I want to display the last name. So here you can see like that. Okay, let's say first name, and then I want to put the comma or like this. Okay, and after the last name also I want to display date of birth of that particular person. Date of birth, and put comma in space, and here DOB. Okay, now you can see the first name, last name, and date of birth. So I told you it returned the n number of columns from that specified record. So whatever column you want to display, you can specify after the condition. So this is the second way of using lookup in PowerApps. So in the third scenario, let me just collect and load the data. So here I am displaying the employee image, employee name, and here the department is not displaying because department data is not there. But here you can see that that person is working in IT department, that person is working in sales department, and etc. So here I am displaying data in gallery from 2 different tables. The employee name and employee image I am displaying from the employee table, and employee department I am displaying from the department table. Now let me show you how I did this. So let me go to the data source and show you the department data. Now you can see this is the department table, and here department ID is a key, primary key you can say, and in employee table, let me show you. Now here this is the employee ID primary key, and that employee working in which department, that information is there. Now here blank means at the time of inserting data we don't know that employee working under which department, so we keep it blank. So that's why here you can see the data is blank. Now see, when I write a code which will display the employee information in gallery control, let's see what I have written in that. So here in gallery control, let me tell you here what I have written in this. Now here I use lookup for finding a reference value from the another table. Now see here, in department table, department ID is a primary key, and in employee table, department ID is a foreign key. So I am not storing here the department name. I am only storing the department ID. So based on that department ID, I am retrieving the department name. So for that, what I have used? So I have used a lookup, and what this lookup function do here? It will find the department name from the department table based on the condition. Which condition? The condition is whatever department ID, or you can say this dot department ID, that means whatever data we are referring equal to the department table of, from the department table, the department ID is a primary key, and we are matching with the department ID of this employee table to the department table. So now in gallery control, I have given the reference of employee. Now you may have a confused that we are referring here the department table and employee table, and I have written here the employee. Why? The reason is that, let me show you, I load the data into the collection first. So let me show you the code. So from the department table, I am loading data into the department collection, and from the employee table, I am loading the data into the employee table, and here is my collection. You can check it out. Okay. So this is the department, and this is the employee collection. So basically I am downloading, or you can say I am loading data from table to the collection. Okay. So you may have confusion. If we can directly refer the data from the table, then what is the need? So I will explain this in the fourth scenario, why I done this. Okay, so from that, what I do, I give the reference of employee collection in this gallery control, and here in this label control, I am writing a lookup for that. So basically, when you are writing lookup for finding a reference value from the table, so you need to write a primary table. Here our reference table is employee table, and we are finding the department ID, that is department 1, department 2, what is the name of that particular department ID. So we will get to know from this department table. So that's why I am writing this primary table, that is department, and from the primary table we are checking whether the department of this primary table ID is equal to this employee, that is collection department ID. And if it is there, then we are displaying the department name from this table, that is from the first table. So basically we are fetching the data from the reference table, or you can say we are fetching the data from the another table in the gallery control. Now here you can check it out. So this is the way of fetching data from another table using lookup. Now let me tell you the fourth scenario, where if you use lookup, it will generate an error. We are doing the same thing, but let me tell you when it will generate an error. So I have taken a gallery control, and in gallery control, I am setting the data source of the table, that is employee table, and I am here trying to print the department information from which table? From the department table. In previous scenario, we load the data from department table and employee table into the collection. But this time we are directly using that and try to do the same thing, and then let's see what it will say. So here I done the same thing. Let me click on that, and I have written the same thing. You can check it out by going little bit previous in this video. So here I use a lookup, and here I am using department. In previous example I am using the collection, that is department, and here the ID, that is department ID, I am matching with this record dot department ID, and then I am returning a department name, and it is generating an error. The reason, let's see what it is saying. So it is saying that incompatible type for comparison. Why it is like that? Because here the department ID is auto number column in my database, and we can see that in employee table this is the lookup column in the employee table. So both data type is different. So that's why it is saying that it cannot convert, or it is generating an error. So if you use lookup function like this, then it will generate an error. And if you want to still display the department name, so what we can do? We can load the data into the collection, and then we can write the same thing. Then it will not generate an error, because it will remove the reference and everything from that. Okay, so let me explain you the fifth scenario of lookup. So what we are going to do, we have a product table, and we are going to insert the data into two different tables. One table is high price product, and the second table is low price product. Now let's say what is the condition. So if the product price is greater than 500, then we insert the product information into the high price table, and if the product price is less than 500, then we will insert this product information into the low price table. So let me tell you, so this is the product table, and in this table all two types of data are there, greater than 500 and less than 500 information. And let's say this is the high price table and this is the low price table. Now let me run this screen. Okay, now let's say if I select this product 4000, and if I determine this, it will insert data into the high price table. And if I click on this, and when I click on determine table, it will insert data into the low price. So let me start with the product called shirt. and let me click on determine. Then let me click on the product called shirt and click on determine, and jeans is again high price, so let me click on determine. So in high price, t-shirt and jeans information will be there, and in low price shirt information is there. Let me check it out. So let me click on high price table. Okay, so you can see that this is the jeans and t-shirt information, and here in low price you can see the shirt and shrug information. Now you may have a question, I did not click on the shrug, then why is the data of shrug is there? Because when I was developing a demo for you, I clicked on shrug for testing purpose. So what I did on determine button, or you can say what code I have done on that. So here you can check it out that, so I have written a if condition, and inside the if condition I use lookup as well as fetch function. So first of all, I am determining that whether the product data, that is a table which contains the product data, and I am checking the condition. If the gallery 5, that is whatever data I am selecting from the gallery, its price is greater than 500, then I am returning high. And when high word is returning, I am comparing with the word high. Okay, so it is checking whatever the data lookup function is returning, it is equal to high. Or if it is high, then I am inserting data into the table called high price table, and definitely if it is not there, then it will return not high word in that. So at that time I am inserting data into the low price table. So this way, using a lookup also you can determine when to insert and what to insert. I hope you understand 5 different use cases of lookup function, and as your need, you can implement lookup function in your project. Thank you for choosing Know How Academy as your source of IT knowledge. We are always here to help you to navigate to the tech world. If you have any question, don't hesitate to reach out us. It has been a pleasure to share this information with you. Stay curious and keep learning.